It is the fighters and believers who changed the world. We've changed the world before, and we're going to change the world again.
Not everyone who grows up in a deprived neighbourhood turns to crime. Just as not everyone who grows up in a rich neighbourhood stays on the straight and narrow.
Just as not everyone who grows up in a rich neighbourhood stays on the straight and narrow. Crime, drugs, underage sex. This behaviour is wrong, but blaming the kids who get involved doesn't help us get much further.
Just as not everyone who grows up in a rich neighbourhood stays on the straight and narrow. Crime, drugs, underage sex, this behaviour is wrong, but blaming the kids who get involved doesn't get us much further. The child born on a run-down housing estate should have the same chances as the child born in leafy suburbs. Our aim, our central belief, is community where everyone has the chance to succeed.
Our aim, our central belief, is a community where everyone has the chance to succeed. There is more that unites us than divides us. We've got to be optimistic about young people. Otherwise, we'll forever be dealing with the short-term symptoms instead of the long-term causes. Young people are essentially the same. Deeper than their material needs is a hunger for identity and security.
Deeper than their material needs is a hunger for identity and security. To be part of a loving home where they can become more than they could ever be on their own. The state cannot provide such a home. Prisons are full of young people who are children in long-term local authority care. Gangs offer substitute forms of friendships, identity and purpose to children without strong family or community. Our country faces the biggest choice for a generation.
Our country faces the biggest choice for a generation. We need to fight, not to bow out, not to walk away, not to give in, not to give up, but fight, and fight to win. Poverty should not be a birthright. Being poor should not be a life sentence. We need to sow the seeds of ambition in the young. Almost 1 in 3 children in our country lives in poverty. Poor children are nearly 3 times likely to have no qualifications. Children from deprived backgrounds are 10 times more likely to have teenage pregnancy.
Girls from deprived backgrounds are 10 times more likely to have a teenage pregnancy. Poor children are more likely to play truant, more likely to get excluded from school, more likely to be in trouble with the police. The first thing is to recognise that we'll never get the answers right unless we understand what's gone wrong.
The first thing is to recognise that we'll never get the answers right unless we understand what's gone wrong. We often see hoodies as aggressive, the uniform of a rebel of young gangsters. But for young people, hoodies are often more defensive than offensive. They're a way to stay invisible in the street. In a dangerous environment, the best thing to do is keep your head down, blend in, don't stand out.
In a dangerous environment, the best thing to do is keep your head down, blend in, and don't stand out. We need to break the cycle of disadvantage so that children born into poverty are not condemned to social exclusion and deprivation. There is no such thing as society.
There is no such thing as society.
There is no such thing as society.
There is no such thing as society. There is a living tapestry of men, women and people, and the beauty of that tapestry and the quality of our lives will depend upon how much of us is prepared to take responsibility for ourselves and how much each of us is prepared to turn around and help through our own efforts those who are more unfortunate.
And how much each of us are prepared to turn around and help through our own efforts and those who are more unfortunate. When you see a child walking down the street, hoodie up, head down, mood swaggering, dominating the pavement, think of what has brought that child to that moment. Too many young people have no understanding of consequences. Young criminals become older criminals. They end up with wrecked lives, wrecked relationships, in prison, on drugs.
They end up with wrecked lives, wrecked relationships, in prison, on drugs. Either dead or with such a bad start in life, they never really recover. The public, police, victims and many on the inside are frustrated by a system that fails to deliver sentences that ensure public safety or cut crime.
The public, police, victims and many on the inside are frustrated by a system that fails to deliver sentences that ensure public safety or cut crime. Half of convicted criminals will be back in court within 2 years. The criminal justice system is letting us all down. If we are to put the sense back into sentencing, the facts cannot be ignored. The issues are too important to be left for discussion by politicians and media commentators alone. People are sick and tired of politician but presentation before substance. People no longer believe that politicians can deliver change. Young people in particular are turning away from a politics that is not worthy of their idealism.
The issues are too important to be left for discussion by politicians and media commentators alone. People are sick and tired of politicians who put presentations before substance. People no longer believe that politicians can deliver change. Young people in particular are turning away from politics that is not worthy of their idealism. People want honesty from politicians. They want leadership. They want change. The talent we waste through social exclusion, we waste not just for the individual, but for the nation. As I look ahead, I am being filled from foreboding. Like the Roman, I see the river Tiber foaming with much blood. Only resolute and urgent action will avert it, even now. Whether there will be the public will to demand and obtain that action, I do not know. All I know is that to see and not to speak, or to speak and not to act would be the greatest betrayal.